I found her on the third day, not in a ditch, not in a hospital, in the woods behind the Oakfield development where the new construction stops and the old logging trails begin, the kind of place people drive past without looking twice. She was sitting against a maple tree, knees pulled to her chest, staring at nothing. Her jacket was torn at the shoulder. When I called her name, she didn't turn her head. Emma. Nothing. I walked closer, slow, like approaching a wounded animal. The ground was soft from recent rain, and my boots made sucking sounds in the mud. She was breathing. That was the first thing I checked. Her chest rose and fell, shallow but steady. Emma, it's Dad. Her eyes moved then. Not to me, to the dirt. I'm taking you home, I said. She said my jeans were dirty. The words came out flat. No emotion. Like she was reading from a script she'd memorized but didn't understand. I crouched beside her. Who said that? Mom. My daughter is 23 years old. She has a degree in environmental science. She volunteers at the animal shelter on weekends. She doesn't get lost in the woods for 3 days without someone putting her there. Can you walk? She nodded, but when I helped her up, her legs shook. I kept one arm around her shoulders as we moved back toward the access road where I'd left my truck. She didn't ask how I found her. She didn't ask where we were going. She just walked. The drive home took 40 minutes. She sat with her head against the window, eyes closed, hands folded in her lap. I didn't push. My father taught me that when someone's been broken, you don't interrogate them. You wait, you watch, you listen. The house was empty when we arrived. My wife's car was gone. Good. I helped Emma inside, got her settled on the couch, brought her water. She drank it without looking at me. Where were you supposed to be this weekend? I asked. Family mediation. Where? The cabin upstate, the one we rented last summer. Who was there? She finally looked at me. Her eyes were red but dry, like she'd cried herself empty days ago. Everyone. Mom, Trevor, his wife, Lisa. Trevor is my son. He's 26. He works in commercial real estate, the same field I built my career in before I handed him the keys to the family business 3 years ago. Lisa is his wife. She has an MBA from Wharton and a smile that never reaches her eyes. What happened at the cabin, Emma? They said I needed help. They said I was unstable. They said I was making bad decisions and embarrassing the family. What decisions? I don't know. They wouldn't tell me specifics. They just kept saying I needed to accept that I had problems, that I needed to admit it. I kept my voice level. And when you didn't admit it? They took my phone. They said it was for my own good. They said I was too connected to toxic influences online. They said I needed space to think. Who took your phone? Trevor. And your mother agreed with this? Emma nodded. Then what? I tried to leave. Mom said if I left, I was proving I couldn't handle reality. She said I was acting just like her father did before he had his breakdown. She said it was genetic. She said my genes were dirty. I sat back in the chair across from her. My hands were shaking, so I folded them in my lap where she couldn't see. How did you end up in the woods? I left anyway. I walked. I didn't know where I was going. I just walked. I kept walking until I couldn't anymore. For 3 days? I slept under trees. I drank from a stream. I thought someone would come looking for me. No one did. No. I stood up. Stay here. I'm going to make you something to eat. In the kitchen, I gripped the edge of the counter and counted to 50. My father's voice played in my head, the same lesson he'd drilled into me when I was young. Rage is a tool, not a master. If you let it control you, you lose. If you control it, you win. I made Emma a sandwich, brought her a blanket, told her to rest. She curled up on the couch and closed her eyes, and within minutes, she was asleep. I went to my office and locked the door. 3 years ago, I stepped back from the business. It wasn't retirement, it was transition. I'd taught Trevor everything I knew about leverage, negotiation, and timing. I'd shown him how to read people, how to identify weakness, how to apply pressure without leaving marks. He was smart, he was capable, I trusted him. Apparently, I was wrong. I pulled out my phone and called him. He answered on the second ring. Hey, Dad, what's up? Where are you? At the office. Why? Come home. Now? I've got a meeting at 4. Cancel it. There was a pause. Is everything okay? Come home, Trevor. I hung up. Then I called my wife. It went to voicemail. I didn't leave a message. Trevor arrived 90 minutes later. I heard his car in the driveway, heard the front door open, heard him call out. I stayed in my office. Let him come to me. He knocked. Dad? Come in. He stepped inside, still wearing his suit, still carrying his phone. He looked confident, comfortable. He closed the door behind him. "What's going on?" he asked. "Your sister's asleep on the couch." His expression didn't change. "Emma, when did she get here?" "Few hours ago." "Where was she?" "Woods behind Oakfield. I found her." Now he frowned. What was she doing out there? "Surviving." He tilted his head slightly, like he was trying to solve a puzzle. "I don't understand." She walked out of the cabin. No phone, no plan. She spent 3 days in the woods because she thought someone would come looking for her. No one did. "Wait, hold on." He held up a hand. "We thought she went home. She said she was leaving, and we assumed she meant back here. We didn't think." "You took her phone?" "For her own good. You isolated her." "We were trying to help her." I stood up slowly. I walked around the desk, stopped 3 feet away from him. "Help her with what?" "She's been struggling, Dad. You haven't noticed because you're not around as much anymore, but the rest of us see it. She's erratic. She's emotional. She makes impulsive decisions. Mom and I thought an intervention might give her clarity." "An intervention?" "Yeah." "And your wife was part of this?" "Lisa helped organize it. She has experience with this kind of thing. Her brother went through something similar." I nodded. "And what exactly did your mother say to Emma?" Trevor shifted his weight. "I don't know. I wasn't in the room for all of it." "She told Emma her genes were dirty." He blinked. "What?" "Your mother told Emma she inherited mental illness, that it was genetic, that she was broken." "Dad, I'm sure it wasn't like that." "Then what was it like?" He spread his hands. "Look, I know it sounds harsh, but sometimes you have to be direct. Emma needed to hear the truth. She needed to confront her issues." "What issues?" "She's unstable." "Based on what?" "Based on her behavior over the last 6 months. She quit her job without a backup plan. She's been distant from the family. She refuses to take advice. She acts like she doesn't need us. She filed a complaint and they fired her. She told you this." Trevor hesitated. "That's her version." "You think she's lying?" "I think she's confused. I think she's interpreting normal workplace dynamics as something sinister because she's not in a good headspace." I took 1 step closer. "You left her in the woods." "We didn't leave her anywhere." She walked out. "You didn't go after her." "We thought she went home." "You didn't call to check?" "Her phone was off." "Because you took it?" His jaw tightened. "We were trying to help." "No," I said. "You were trying to control her. And when she resisted, you punished her." "That's not fair." "You want to talk about fair, Trevor? Let's talk about fair. Let's talk about how you convinced your mother to isolate your sister. Let's talk about how you decided she was defective. Let's talk about how you left her in the woods for 3 days without checking if she was safe." He straightened his shoulders. "You're overreacting." "Am I?" "Yes. You're letting Emma manipulate you. She's good at playing the victim. She always has been." I smiled. Not because I was happy. Because I recognized the words. They were mine. I'd said something similar to him years ago when teaching him how to negotiate, how to reframe the narrative, how to position yourself as the reasonable party. He'd learned well. "Get out of my office," I said. "Dad, get out." He stood there for another moment, then turned and left. I listened to his footsteps fade down the hallway, heard the front door close, heard his car start. Then I sat down at my desk and opened my laptop. My father used to say, "If you want to understand someone's plan, watch what they do when they think no one's looking." He taught me how to be patient, how to observe, how to wait for the moment when people expose themselves. I hadn't been watching closely enough. I pulled up the family business accounts. Trevor had full access now, but I still had read-only visibility. I started scrolling through transactions, contracts, client communications. Everything looked normal on the surface, but I knew what to look for. Small discrepancies, patterns, payments that didn't quite align with invoices, transfers that happened just before board meetings. Nothing illegal, nothing obvious, just enough to suggest someone was building leverage. I made a list. Then I checked the family trust documents, the ones I'd set up to protect Emma's inheritance, the ones that were supposed to be untouchable. They'd been amended 6 months ago. I read through the changes. Trevor had been named primary trustee. Emma had been reclassified as a conditional beneficiary, meaning her access was subject to approval by the trustee and 2 other family members. The signatures at the bottom were mine, my wife's, and Trevor's. I'd never signed this document. I picked up my phone and called my attorney. "Richard," I said when he answered, "I need you to pull the original trust documents, the ones we filed 5 years ago. I need certified copies by tomorrow morning." "Is there a problem?" "Yes." "What kind of problem?" "The kind that involves forgery." He was quiet for a moment. I'll have them ready. I hung up and leaned back in my chair. The house was silent. Emma was still asleep on the couch. My wife hadn't called back. Trevor was probably halfway back to his office by now, convinced he'd handled the situation. They thought I was old. They thought I was tired. They thought I'd stepped back because I was weak. They were wrong. I'd stepped back because I wanted to see who they'd become without me watching. Now I knew Emma slept for 14 hours. When she finally woke up, it was past noon the next day. I heard her moving around in the bathroom, then shuffling into the kitchen. I was at the table with coffee and the newspaper, pretending to be calm. "Morning," I said. She looked rough. Hair tangled, eyes puffy, skin pale. She poured herself water and sat down across from me. "How do you feel?" I asked. "Tired." "That'll pass." She nodded, staring at her glass. "Have you talked to Mom?" "Not yet." "She's going to call?" "Probably." "What are you going to say?" I folded the newspaper. "I'm going to ask her why she told you your jeans were dirty." Emma flinched. She didn't mean it like it sounded. How did she mean it? I don't know. She was upset. She said I reminded her of her father. "Your grandfather." "Yeah." I'd met Emma's grandfather once, years ago, before he died. He was a quiet man with sharp eyes and a habit of watching people like he was solving equations in his head. He'd been a college professor before some kind of breakdown forced him into early retirement. No one talked about it much. My wife always changed the subject when his name came up. "Did your grandfather ever hurt anyone?" I asked. Emma shook her head. "No, he was just sad, I think. Mom said he couldn't handle reality." "And she thinks you're like him?" "She thinks I might be." "Because you quit your job?" "Because I don't fit." That's what she said. She said I don't fit in the family. She said I make things harder for everyone else. I sipped my coffee. "What do you think?" "I think I'm just different." "Different how?" "I don't care about the same things they care about. I don't want a big house. I don't want a corporate job. I don't want to spend my life impressing people I don't like." "What do you want?" She looked at me like the question surprised her. "I want to be left alone." "That's fair." "Is it?" "Why wouldn't it be?" "Because everyone keeps telling me I'm wrong. Trevor says I'm self-destructive. Mom says I'm unstable. Lisa says I need therapy." "Lisa's not a therapist." "She thinks she is." I almost smiled. "What does Lisa actually do?" "She manages Trevor. That's her job now. She manages his schedule, his image, his relationships. She treats the family like a PR campaign." "And Trevor lets her?" "Trevor loves it. He thinks it makes him look successful." I set my mug down. "Emma, I need you to tell me something, and I need you to be honest." "Okay." "Did Trevor or your mother or Lisa ever suggest you should give up your inheritance?" She hesitated. "Not directly." "What does that mean?" "They said it might be better if I let Trevor manage my share of the trust, just temporarily, until I got my life together." "When did they say this?" "At the cabin, the first night." "What did you say?" "I said no." "How did they react?" "They said I was being selfish. They said I didn't understand what was at stake. They said if I didn't cooperate, I'd regret it." I kept my voice level. "Did they threaten you?" "Not exactly. It was more like implications. Like if I didn't agree, bad things might happen, my reputation might suffer, people might think I was unstable, doors might close." "Who said this?" "All of them, but mostly Lisa." I nodded slowly. "And after you refused, that's when they took your phone?" "Yeah." "And your mother started talking about your grandfather?" "Yeah." "And when you tried to leave, no one stopped you?" "No. Mom said if I left, I was proving I couldn't be trusted. She said it was my choice, but I'd have to live with the consequences." I leaned back in my chair. "So they let you walk into the woods with no phone, no money, no way to get help, and then they waited to see if you'd come crawling back." Emma's eyes filled with tears. "I think so." "And when you didn't come back?" "I don't know. I don't know what they thought." I reached across the table and took her hand. "It doesn't matter what they thought. You're safe now." She nodded, wiping her eyes with her free hand. "I need you to do something for me," I said. "What?" "I need you to write down everything that happened at the cabin. Every conversation, every threat, every detail you remember. Can you do that?" "Why?" "Because I'm going to make sure this never happens again." She looked at me for a long moment. "What are you going to do?" "I'm going to remind them who I am." My wife came home that evening. I heard her car in the driveway, heard her heels clicking on the front walk, heard the door open. She called out Emma's name first. She's upstairs, I said from the living room. My wife appeared in the doorway, still wearing her coat. Her name is Diane. She's 51 years old, blonde, fit, and carries herself like someone who's never been told no. We've been married for 28 years. Where was she? Diane asked. Woods behind Oakfield. For 3 days? Yes. Why didn't she call someone? Trevor took it, remember? Diane's expression didn't change. We thought she'd come home. You didn't check? She's an adult. She made her choice. I stood up. Her choice? She walked out of the cabin. No one forced her. You isolated her. You took her phone. You told her she was mentally ill. I told her the truth. What truth? That she's struggling, that she needs help, that she's putting herself and this family at risk with her behavior. I walked closer. What behavior, Diane? You wouldn't understand. You're not around enough to see it. Try me. She sighed, like I was exhausting her. She's impulsive. She's emotional. She quits jobs without thinking. She burns bridges. She alienates people. She's exactly like my father, and we both know how that ended. Your father was a good man who got depressed. My father was weak. The word hung in the air between us. Is that what you think of Emma? I asked. That she's weak? I think she's vulnerable. I think she needs structure and guidance, and right now she's rejecting both. Trevor and Lisa were trying to help her see that. Trevor and Lisa were trying to take her inheritance. Diane blinked. What? They amended the family trust. They made Trevor the primary trustee and reclassified Emma as a conditional beneficiary. That means she can't access her own money without Trevor's approval. That's not true. I have the documents. You signed off on those changes. No, I didn't. Someone forged my signature. Her face went pale. That's a serious accusation. It's a serious crime. You think Trevor forged your signature? I think someone did. You're wrong. Then let's ask him. She turned and walked toward the stairs. Emma, come down here. I caught her arm. Leave her alone. She yanked free. This is my house too. And she's my daughter too. Then act like her father instead of enabling her delusions. What delusions? That she's a victim. That we're against her. That everyone's out to get her. She's paranoid and you're feeding into it. I stepped closer. She's not paranoid. You did go after her. We tried to help her. You tried to break her. Diane's eyes flashed. You don't know what you're talking about. I found her sitting against a tree in the woods after 3 days without food, water, or shelter. She told me you said her jeans were dirty. She told me Trevor took her phone. She told me Lisa threatened her. I know exactly what I'm talking about. She's lying. Why would she lie? Because she's sick. She's not sick. How would you know? You're never here. You have no idea what's been happening while you've been playing retired. I smiled. That's the problem, Diane. I've been watching, and I've seen everything. She stared at me. What does that mean? It means I know what you've been doing. I know what Trevor's been doing. I know what Lisa's been doing, and I know why. You're being paranoid now. Am I? She crossed her arms. What exactly do you think we've been doing? You've been positioning Emma as unstable so you can justify taking control of her inheritance. You've been isolating her so she has no support system. You've been gaslighting her so she doubts her own perceptions. And when she refused to cooperate, you punished her by letting her walk into the woods and hoping she'd come back broken. Diane's voice went cold. That's insane. Is it? Yes. You're creating a conspiracy theory because you can't accept that your daughter has real problems. What problems? Ask her therapist. She doesn't have a therapist. She should. Why? Because you say so? Diane turned toward the stairs again. I'm not doing this. I'm going to talk to Emma. I grabbed her arm harder this time. No, you're not. She looked down at my hand, then back at me. Let go. Not until you admit what you did. I didn't do anything. You told her she was defective. I told her she needed help. By giving her context. By destroying her. Diane jerked her arm free. You're hurting me. I let go. She rubbed her wrist, glaring at me. I'm calling Trevor. Go ahead. She pulled out her phone and dialed. Waited. Trevor, your father's having some kind of breakdown? He's accusing us of forging documents and conspiring against Emma. You need to come over here. She listened for a moment. No, I'm serious. He's acting paranoid. Another pause. Just come. She hung up and looked at me. He'll be here in 20 minutes. Good. What are you planning? A conversation. About what? About the future of this family. Diane shook her head. You've lost your mind. Maybe. Trevor's going to recommend we get you evaluated. Let him try. She stared at me for a long moment, then walked past me toward the kitchen. I heard her opening cabinets, pouring herself wine, muttering under her breath. I went upstairs and knocked on Emma's door. Yeah? I opened it. She was sitting on her bed with her laptop, typing. Writing it down? I asked. She nodded. Almost done. Good. I need you to send it to yourself at 3 different email addresses. Then print it and put the paper somewhere safe. Why? Because your brother's coming over, and I'm going to need evidence. Evidence of what? Everything. She looked scared. Dad, what are you doing? What I should have done 3 years ago. What's that? Protecting you. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in my office with the door locked, going through everything I could find. Financial records, trust documents, email archives, text messages, phone logs. I built a timeline of the last 6 months, tracking every interaction between Trevor, Lisa, Diane, and Emma. The pattern was clear. It started small. Lisa making comments about Emma's instability, Trevor suggesting Emma needed guidance, Diane expressing concern about Emma's decision-making. Then it escalated. Emma was excluded from family dinners. Her opinions were dismissed. Her choices were questioned. By the time they got to the cabin, they'd already convinced themselves she was the problem. The intervention wasn't an attempt to help her. It was a final ultimatum. Submit or be destroyed. Emma had chosen not to submit, so they'd tried to destroy her. I printed everything, made copies, scanned them to 3 different cloud storage accounts. Then I called Richard, my attorney. It's 5 a.m, he said when he answered. I need to see you today. What's going on? I need to file for an emergency hearing to reverse the trust amendments. He was quiet for a moment. You're sure about this? Yes. If those documents are legitimate, you'll look like you're losing your memory. They're not legitimate. Can you prove that? I can prove I never authorized them. That's not the same thing. It'll have to be enough. He sighed. I'll see what I can do. Come by at 9. I hung up and went downstairs. Emma was already awake, sitting at the kitchen table with her laptop. Did you sleep? I asked. No. Me neither. She looked up. I finished writing everything down. Good. What now? Now we build a case. Against who? All of them. She closed her laptop. Dad, are you sure about this? This is going to destroy the family. The family's already destroyed. But, Emma, they tried to erase you. They isolated you, gaslit you, and left you in the woods to see if you'd break. And when I confronted them, they lied to my face. There's no coming back from that. She nodded slowly. What do you need from me? I need you to be strong. I am strong. I know. But they're going to try to make you doubt that. They're going to say you're unstable. They're going to say you're lying. They're going to say you're manipulating me. And I need you to hold your ground. I will. Good, because this is going to get ugly. Richard's office was downtown, in a glass building with expensive art in the lobby. I'd been coming here for 20 years. He was the one who set up the family trust. He was the one who handled the business incorporation. He was the one who drafted my will, and he was the one who supposedly sent me the amended trust documents. I sat across from him in his office while he reviewed the files I'd brought. This is complicated, he said after a few minutes. I know. If you're claiming forgery, we'll need a handwriting expert. But since these were e-signed, that's going to be difficult. Can you check the IP address on the signature? I can try, but even if it shows a different location, it won't prove fraud. It'll just prove someone else accessed your email, which is illegal. Only if we can prove they didn't have authorization. I didn't give anyone authorization. Can you prove that? I leaned back. Richard, whose side are you on? He looked up. Yours. Always. But I'm trying to manage your expectations. This is going to be a hard case to win. What if I told you they wiped Emma's phone? Wiped it how? Deleted all her messages, call history, and photos. Everything from the last 6 months. He frowned. Do you have proof? The phone. That's not proof of who wiped it. Who else would it be? Emma could have done it herself. Why would she do that? I don't know, but a judge will ask that question. I stood up. So what are you saying? That I should just let them get away with this? I'm saying you need more evidence. Right now, it's your word against theirs, and if they have documentation showing you signed those papers, it's going to be very difficult to prove otherwise. They forged my signature. Then prove it. I paced to the window, looked out at the city below, Watch the cars moving through traffic, people going about their lives, oblivious to the war happening in mine. What would you do? I asked. If I were you? Yes. He was quiet for a long moment. I'd be very careful, because if you go after them and you lose, you'll have destroyed your relationship with your son and your wife for nothing. And if I don't go after them? Then they win. I turned around. That's not an option. Then you need to be smart about this. You need to gather evidence. You need to build a case, and you need to be prepared for the possibility that you might not win. I'll win. How do you know? Because I taught them everything they know, and I know their weaknesses. He smiled slightly. Then you don't need a lawyer. You need a strategist. I need both. Fair enough. What's your plan? I sat back down. I'm going to make them expose themselves. How? By giving them what they want. He frowned. What do they want? Control. I went home and called Trevor. He answered on the third ring. Hey, Dad, we need to talk. About what? About last night. I overreacted. I'm sorry. There was a pause. You're apologizing? Yes. Why? Because I was wrong. I accused you of things without evidence. I let my emotions get the better of me, and I'm sorry. Another pause. Okay, thanks. I'd like to meet with you and Lisa. Just the three of us. I want to hear your side of things. Our side of what? Everything. The intervention, the trust amendments, Emma, all of it. You actually want to listen? Yes. When? Tomorrow. Lunch, neutral location. You pick? He was quiet for a moment. Okay, I'll talk to Lisa and get back to you. Good. And Trevor? Yeah? I love you. You know that, right? Yeah, I love you too, Dad. I hung up. Emma was standing in the doorway. What are you doing? Setting a trap. What kind of trap? The kind they'll walk right into. Trevor called back an hour later. How about Mercato? That Italian place downtown, 1 o'clock tomorrow? Perfect. Just you, me, and Lisa. That's right. What about Mom? She's not invited. Why not? Because I want to talk to you without her influence. He hesitated. Okay, we'll see you there. I hung up and spent the rest of the day preparing. I reviewed my notes, practiced my approach, planned my questions. I wasn't going to confront them. I was going to let them think they'd won. People get careless when they think they've won. Emma watched me from the kitchen table. You're being scary. Good. I don't mean that as a compliment. I looked up. Do you trust me? Yes. Then trust this. She nodded, but she didn't look convinced. That night, Diane came home late. I heard her car in the driveway around 10. She went straight upstairs without saying anything to me. I didn't follow her. The next morning, I got dressed in my best suit, shaved, combed my hair, looked at myself in the mirror and barely recognized the man staring back. He looked older than I remembered, tired. But there was something else there too, something I hadn't seen in years. Hunger. Mercato was crowded for lunch. I arrived 5 minutes early and got a table in the back, away from the main dining area. Trevor and Lisa arrived exactly on time. They looked polished and professional. Trevor wore a navy suit. Lisa wore a cream-colored dress and pearls. They sat down across from me. Thanks for coming, I said. Of course, Lisa said. We're glad you wanted to talk. The waiter came by. We ordered drinks, made small talk about the weather, the restaurant, traffic. Then the drinks arrived, and the small talk ended. So, Trevor said, what did you want to discuss? I wanted to apologize, I said, for how I acted the other night. I was out of line. It's okay, Trevor said. We understand. It was an emotional situation. It was, and I let my emotions cloud my judgment. Lisa smiled. We all do that sometimes. I've been thinking a lot about what you said, about Emma, about her struggles, and I think you might be right. Trevor's expression shifted slightly. Really? Yes. I've been too close to the situation to see it clearly. But looking back, I can see the patterns you were talking about. The impulsivity, the poor decisions, the defensiveness. We only want what's best for her, Lisa said. I know that now, and I'm sorry I doubted you. They exchanged a glance. So what does this mean? Trevor asked. It means I want to work with you, not against you. Work with us how? I want to support the trust amendments. I want to help you manage Emma's inheritance. I want to make sure she's protected. Lisa leaned forward slightly. That's a significant change from your position 2 days ago. I know, but I've had time to think, and I realize you were trying to do the right thing. We were, Trevor said. We are. Good. Then let's move forward together. He smiled. I'm glad to hear you say that, Dad. I really am. The food arrived. We ate and talked about logistics, how to structure Emma's access to the trust, what conditions should be in place, how to ensure she was getting the help she needed. I agreed to everything, nodded along, played the part of the concerned father who'd finally seen the light. And I watched them, watched how Trevor relaxed as the conversation went on, watched how Lisa's smile grew more genuine, watched how they stopped measuring their words and started speaking freely. People get careless when they think they've won. There's one thing I'm curious about, I said after we'd finished eating. What's that? Trevor asked. The trust amendments. How did you manage to get my signature if I wasn't there? Lisa's smile didn't waver. You e-signed the documents, remember? Richard sent them to your email. Right, but I don't remember receiving that email. You probably just forgot. It was 6 months ago. Maybe, but I'm usually pretty good about remembering things like that. Trevor shifted in his seat. Dad, are you... I'm just curious, that's all, it's not important. But I could see the calculation happening behind their eyes, the slight tension in Trevor's shoulders, the way Lisa's hand moved to her water glass. If you're still concerned about the signature, Lisa said carefully, we can always have Richard verify it. That's a good idea. Let's do that. Okay. I signaled the waiter for the check. Paid. We stood up to leave. Thanks for lunch, Trevor said. This was really good. It was. Let's do it again soon. Definitely. We walked out together. They headed toward their car. I headed toward mine. Dad? Trevor called out. I turned. Yeah? Are we good? I smiled. We're good. He nodded, relieved, and got in his car. I watched them drive away. Then I got in my own car and called Richard. They took the bait, I said. You're sure? Positive. They think I've given up. Now they'll get sloppy. What's the next move? We wait, and we watch. 3 days went by. I didn't call Trevor, didn't call Diane, didn't do anything that might make them suspicious. I just waited. Emma was restless. She kept asking what the plan was, when something would happen, how this was all going to end. I told her to be patient, told her the trap was set, told her they'd spring it themselves. On the 4th day, Trevor called. Hey, Dad, how are you? Good. You? Good. Listen, I wanted to follow up on something we talked about at lunch. What's that? The trust verification. We spoke to Richard, and he said he'd need your authorization to release the original signature files. Okay. Can you call him and authorize that? Sure, I'll do it today. Great, thanks. He hung up. I didn't call Richard. Instead, I called a private investigator I'd used years ago for business matters. His name was Don. He was 60, ex-cop, and very good at finding things people wanted hidden. I need you to dig into someone, I said. Who? My daughter-in-law, Lisa Hayes, married to my son Trevor. What am I looking for? Anything that doesn't fit. Financial records, employment history, criminal background, social media, past relationships. I want to know who she really is. How deep do you want me to go? All the way. That's going to take time. How much time? Week, maybe 2. You've got 3 days. That's not realistic. Make it realistic. I'll pay double your rate. He was quiet for a moment. What's going on? She's trying to steal my daughter's inheritance. By herself? With my son's help. And you want to stop her? I want to destroy her. He laughed. Okay, I'll see what I can find. I hung up and went to find Emma. She was in her room, lying on her bed, staring at the ceiling. We're moving, I said. She sat up. What? Not permanently, just for a few days. We're going to stay at a hotel. Why? Because I don't trust your mother not to interfere, and because I need you safe while I finish this. Safe from what? From them. She looked scared. Dad, what are you planning? I'm planning to give you your life back. We checked into a hotel across town under a fake name. I paid cash, left my phone at home, told Emma not to contact anyone. For the next 3 days, we were ghosts. Don called on the 2nd day. You're not going to believe what I found? Tell me. Your daughter-in-law isn't who she says she is. What do you mean? Her real name is Lisa Montgomery. She changed it legally 6 years ago. Before that, she was involved in a lawsuit with a former employer. They accused her of embezzlement. The case was settled out of court. I sat down. How much? $200,000. She embezzled $200,000? Allegedly. The settlement included a non-disclosure agreement, so the details are sealed. But yeah, she walked away with a clean record and a new name. What else? She's been married before, twice. Both marriages ended in divorce within 2 years. Both ex-husbands filed restraining orders. For what? Harassment, stalking. One of them accused her of draining his bank account before disappearing. Did he press charges? No, she returned the money after he threatened legal action. I leaned back in the chair. So she's a con artist. That's my assessment. She targets wealthy men, marries them, manipulates them, and takes what she can before moving on. Your son is just the latest mark. Does he know any of this? I doubt it. She's very good at covering her tracks. If I hadn't dug this deep, I wouldn't have found it either. Can you document everything? Already done. I'm sending you a full report. Thank you. One more thing. What? She's been in contact with a divorce attorney for the last 6 months. Filed preliminary paperwork but hasn't submitted it yet. My guess? She's waiting until she has control of the trust before she leaves him. I closed my eyes. She's going to take everything. That's the plan. I hung up and sat there for a long time, staring at the wall. Emma came out of the bathroom. What's wrong? Your brother's been played. What? Lisa. She's not who she says she is. She's a con artist. She's been setting him up for years. Emma sat down beside me. How do you know? I told her everything Dawn had found. Watched her face shift from confusion to anger to something darker. So she's using him to get to the money, Emma said. Yes. And Mom doesn't know? I don't think so, but I can't be sure. What are we going to do? We're going to expose her. How? Carefully. The next day, I called a family meeting. Told Trevor, Lisa, and Diane to meet me at the house at 6 o'clock. Told them it was important. Told them not to be late. They all showed up on time. I was waiting in the living room with Emma. We'd arrived an hour early to set up. Emma's laptop was on the coffee table, connected to the TV. The screen was black. Trevor and Lisa came in first. They looked nervous. Diane came in a few minutes later. She looked annoyed. What's this about? She asked. Sit down, I said. They sat. Trevor and Lisa on the couch. Diane in the chair by the window. I wanted to talk to you all about the future, I said. The future of what? Trevor asked. This family, the business, the trust, everything. Lisa leaned forward. Okay. Over the last few weeks, I've learned a lot. About all of you, about your plans, about your intentions. Dad, Trevor said. What are you talking about? I turned on the TV. The screen lit up. A document appeared. Lisa's real name at the top. Her criminal history below. Lisa went white. What is this? Trevor asked. This, I said, is your wife's real identity. Her real name is Lisa Montgomery. She changed it 6 years ago after being accused of embezzling $200,000 from her former employer. Trevor stared at the screen. That's not true? It is. She's been married twice before. Both marriages ended in restraining orders. Both ex-husbands accused her of financial manipulation. You're lying. I pressed a button. More documents appeared. Court records, marriage certificates, police reports. Trevor looked at Lisa. Lisa? She didn't say anything. Tell him it's not true, I said. She stood up. This is insane. You're fabricating evidence. These are court records. Public documents. You can verify them yourself. Trevor's voice shook. Lisa, is this true? She looked at him, then at me, then at the door. Don't, I said. She ran. Trevor stood up. Lisa, wait. I grabbed his arm. Let her go. What the hell is going on? She was using you. She was going to take control of Emma's trust, drain it, and divorce you. She's been planning it for months. He pulled his arm free. You're lying. Check the documents yourself. He looked at the screen. Read. His face changed. Horror. Realization. Betrayal. Oh my God, he whispered. Diane stood up. This doesn't make sense. It makes perfect sense, I said. Lisa targeted Trevor because he had access to money. She manipulated him into isolating Emma so she could take control of the trust. and she would have succeeded if Emma hadn't survived the woods. Survived? Diane's voice was sharp. What are you talking about? You left her there. You let her walk into the woods with no phone, no food, no way to get help. You hoped she'd come back broken so you could institutionalize her and take her money. That's not true. Then why did you tell her she was defective? Diane's mouth opened, closed. I was trying to help her. You were trying to destroy her. Trevor collapsed back onto the couch. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. About Lisa? About any of it. I thought we were helping Emma. Lisa said she needed structure. She said you were too soft on her. She said... He stopped. Oh my God, she manipulated me. Yes. The trust amendments, the intervention, all of it. Yes. He put his head in his hands. I'm so sorry. Emma walked over and sat beside him. You left me in the woods. He looked up. I thought you went home. You didn't check. I know, I'm sorry. You took my phone. Lisa said it was for your own good. You believed her. I'm sorry. Emma stood up. Sorry isn't enough. She walked out of the room. Trevor looked at me. What do I do? You fix it. How? By reversing the trust amendments, by apologizing to your sister, by rebuilding her trust, if you can. And Lisa? She's gone. Let her go. He nodded, tears running down his face. Diane stood up. I'm calling my attorney. Why? Because you've just destroyed my son's marriage. His marriage was a lie. You don't know that. I have proof. You have documents. That doesn't mean she was guilty. She ran. Because you ambushed her. I walked toward her. Do you really believe that? Do you really think she's innocent? I think you're out of control. I'm the only one in control, she shook her head. You've lost your mind. Have I? Or have I finally woken up? She looked at Trevor. Come on, we're leaving. Trevor didn't move. No. Trevor, I'm staying. I need to talk to Emma. You don't owe her anything. I owe her everything. I almost destroyed her. Diane stared at him, then at me. This isn't over. Yes, I said. It is. She walked out. I heard her car start, heard her drive away. Trevor and I sat in silence for a long time. Finally, he spoke. How did I not see it? She was good. I'm not stupid. No, but you were in love. I thought she loved me. Maybe she did, in her own way. He laughed bitterly. That's generous. I'm not feeling generous. Then why say it? Because you're still my son, and despite everything, I don't want to hate you. He looked at me. Do you? I don't know yet. He nodded. That's fair. Emma came back downstairs an hour later. Trevor was still sitting on the couch. I was in the kitchen making coffee. When Emma walked in, Trevor stood up. Emma, he said, I'm sorry. I know that's not enough, but I need you to hear it. I'm so sorry. She looked at him for a long moment. You let me walk into the woods. I know. You took my phone. I know. You told me I was unstable. I thought I was helping you. You weren't. I know that now. She crossed her arms. Why should I believe you? Because I'm telling you the truth. Lisa manipulated me. She convinced me you were a threat to the family. She said you were going to destroy everything we'd built. She said the only way to protect you was to force you to get help. And you believed her. Yes. Why? Because she made sense. Because she was convincing. Because I wanted to believe I was doing the right thing. But you weren't. No, I was doing the worst possible thing. And I'm sorry. Emma's eyes filled with tears. You're my brother. I know. You were supposed to protect me. I know. Instead, you tried to destroy me. I know. His voice broke. I know, and I'll spend the rest of my life trying to make it right. She wiped her eyes. How? However you want. Whatever you need. I'll do it. I need you to leave me alone. He nodded. Okay. I need you to reverse the trust amendments. I will, tomorrow. I need you to never speak to Lisa again. I won't. And I need you to admit that Mom was part of this. He hesitated. What? Mom knew what was happening. She supported it. She told me I was defective. She compared me to Grandpa. She let you take my phone. She was part of this, and you know it. Trevor looked at the floor. She was trying to help. No, she wasn't. She was trying to control me, just like you were, just like Lisa was. And if you can't admit that, then you're still lying. He was quiet for a long time. Then he looked up. You're right. She was part of it. And I'm sorry I didn't stop her. Why didn't you? Because she's my mother, and I didn't want to believe she could do something like that. But she did. Yes? Emma nodded. Okay, then we're done. Done? Talking, apologizing, pretending this can be fixed. We're done. She walked out of the room. Trevor looked at me. What do I do now? You leave. But Mach, she needs space. Give it to her. He stood up slowly. Will you tell her I'm sorry? She knows. Will you tell her I love her? You can tell her yourself, when she's ready. He nodded and walked toward the door. Stopped, turned back. Dad? Yeah? Thank you. For what? For stopping me before I did something I couldn't take back. I didn't respond. He left. I found Emma in her room, sitting on the bed with her knees pulled to her chest. You okay? I asked. No. Want to talk about it? Not really. I sat down beside her. He meant it, you know, the apology. I don't care. Yes, you do. She looked at me. He left me in the woods, Dad. For 3 days. He thought I was crazy, so he let me suffer. And now he's sorry? That's supposed to make it okay? No. But it's a start. A start to what? To him understanding what he did. I don't want him to understand. I want him to hurt. He is hurting. Good. I put my arm around her. She leaned into me, and we sat like that for a while. What happens now? She asked. Now we finish this. How? Your mother. Emma pulled away. What about her? She's not going to stop. She's going to keep pushing, keep trying to control you, and I need to make sure she can't. How are you going to do that? I don't know yet. Are you going to divorce her? The question hung in the air. I hadn't said it out loud yet. Hadn't even let myself think it clearly. But now that Emma had asked, I couldn't avoid it. Probably, I said. She nodded. Good. Diane didn't come home that night, or the next night, or the night after that. On the 4th day, she called. We need to talk, she said. Okay. Not at the house. Somewhere neutral. Where? The park, by the lake. 1 hour. She hung up before I could respond. I drove to the park and found her sitting on a bench overlooking the water. She was wearing sunglasses and a scarf, like she was trying to hide. Thanks for coming, she said. I sat down beside her. What do you want? I want to know what you're planning. Planning for what? For us, for this marriage, for the family. I'm planning to protect Emma. By destroying everyone else? If that's what it takes. She turned to me. You've changed. So have you. I haven't changed. I'm the same person I've always been. That's the problem. She took off her sunglasses. Her eyes were red. I never wanted this. Wanted what? This war, this conflict. I wanted our children to be safe. I wanted our family to stay together. I wanted to protect them from the things that hurt me. By hurting them, by preparing them, the world is cruel. People are cruel. If Emma doesn't learn that now, she'll be destroyed later. She was almost destroyed now. That wasn't supposed to happen, but it did. Diane looked at the water. I told her about my father because I didn't want her to end up like him. He was brilliant, he was kind, and he was weak. The world broke him, and I watched it happen. I watched him give up. I watched him disappear, and I swore I'd never let that happen to my children. So you tried to break her first? I tried to make her stronger. That's not how strength works. Then how does it work? You don't build strength by tearing someone down. You build it by showing them they can survive. She survived. Barely. Diane put her sunglasses back on. What do you want from me? I want you to admit you were wrong. I wasn't wrong. Then we have nothing to talk about. I stood up to leave. Wait, she said. I stopped. If I admit I was wrong, will you forgive me? I don't know. Will you stay? No. She looked up at me. You're leaving me. Yes. Because of this? Because of everything. Because you tried to destroy our daughter. Because you've spent years turning our son into someone I don't recognize. Because you've convinced yourself that cruelty is strength and control is love. That's not fair. It's the truth. She stood up. If you leave me, you'll regret it. Why? Because I'll take everything. The house, the business, the money, everything. I smiled. You can try. I'll destroy you. You're welcome to try that too. She stepped closer. I know things about you. Things that could ruin you. Like what? Like how you built your business. Like the corners you cut. Like the deals you made with people who weren't exactly ethical. You're threatening to blackmail me? I'm reminding you that you're not innocent either. I leaned in close. Do it. Tell everyone. See what happens. She blinked. You're bluffing. No, I'm done. I'm done with this marriage. I'm done with your manipulation. I'm done pretending we're a family when we're really just strangers who share a last name. Her face went pale. You mean that? Yes. You'd really leave me? Yes. She sat back down on the bench, stared at the water. I loved you once. I know. Do you still love me? No. She nodded slowly. Then I guess we're done? Yes. I walked away. Didn't look back. The divorce took 6 months. Diane fought every step, contested every document, hired 3 different attorneys, tried to freeze my accounts, tried to claim I was mentally unstable, tried to turn Trevor against me. It didn't work. Trevor sided with Emma. He reversed the trust amendments. He apologized publicly. He cut off contact with Lisa. He even moved out of the house he'd shared with her and into a small apartment downtown. Emma started therapy, started rebuilding her life, started making new friends who didn't know anything about the family drama. She seemed lighter, happier, free. I bought a small house on the edge of town. Nothing fancy. Just enough space for me and the occasional visit from Emma. I spent my days reading, hiking, and trying to figure out who I was now that I wasn't defined by my family. It was harder than I expected. Diane moved to California after the divorce was finalized. I heard through Trevor that she'd started dating someone new, someone wealthy, someone who didn't know her history. I hoped it worked out for her. I hoped she'd learned something, but I didn't really believe it. Lisa disappeared entirely. No one knew where she went. Trevor tried to track her down, but she'd vanished. New name, probably, new city, new target. I didn't feel bad for her. I felt bad for whoever she'd chosen next. One afternoon, about 8 months after I found Emma in the woods, I got a call from Richard. I have something you need to see, he said. What? Can you come to my office? I drove downtown and found him waiting in his conference room with a stack of documents. What is this? I asked. It's the final analysis of the trust amendments, the ones Trevor claimed you signed. And? The signature was forged. We had a handwriting expert examine it, and they confirmed it wasn't yours. The IP address on the e-signature traced back to Lisa's laptop. I sat down. So she did it. Yes, she forged your signature, filed the amendments, and manipulated Trevor into thinking you'd approved them. Can we press charges? We could, but it might be difficult to prove intent. She could claim she made a mistake, or that she believed she had your authorization. She didn't. I know, but proving that in court is another matter. I leaned back in the chair. What do you recommend? Let it go. The trust has been corrected. Emma has full access to her inheritance. Trevor's out of the marriage. Diane's gone. You've already won. It doesn't feel like I've won. That's because you're focused on what you lost. Try focusing on what you saved. He was right. I'd saved Emma. I'd saved her future. I'd saved her from a family that would have destroyed her. That was enough. Emma graduated from her therapy program in the spring. She invited me to the small ceremony they held for participants who'd completed the full course. I sat in the back and watched her accept a certificate and give a short speech about resilience. I used to think resilience meant surviving, she said. But I've learned it means more than that. It means choosing to keep going even when you don't want to. It means building a life that's worth living, not just one that's bearable. And it means recognizing that the people who hurt you don't get to define you. The room applauded. I felt my throat tighten. Afterward, we went to dinner, just the two of us. I'm proud of you, I said. Thanks. How do you feel? Better. Not perfect, but better. That's all you can ask for. She smiled. What about you? How do you feel? Tired. But good tired or bad tired? I don't know yet. We ate in comfortable silence for a while. Dad? She said eventually. Yeah? Thank you. For what? For believing me, for protecting me, for not letting them win. You don't have to thank me for that. Yes, I do. Not everyone would have done what you did. Any parent would have. She shook her head. No, they wouldn't. Most parents would have sided with their spouse, or tried to keep the peace, or convinced themselves their child was the problem. But you didn't. You chose me. I reached across the table and took her hand. You're my daughter. I'll always choose you. She squeezed my hand. I know. Trevor called a few weeks later. Hey, Dad, do you have a minute? Sure. I wanted to ask you something. Okay. Do you think Emma would be willing to see me? I don't know. Have you asked her? No, I didn't want to ambush her. I thought I'd check with you first. She's an adult. You don't need my permission. I know, but I wanted your advice. My advice is to give her more time. How much time? As much as she needs. He was quiet for a moment. Do you think she'll ever forgive me? I don't know. Do you forgive me? I'm working on it. That's fair. He paused. Do you ever regret it? How it all ended? Which part? All of it. The divorce, exposing Lisa, breaking up the family. No. Really? Really. We weren't a family. We were people living in the same house, pretending to care about each other. That's not worth saving. I guess not. Do you regret it? I asked. I regret hurting Emma. I regret not seeing Lisa for who she was, but I don't regret the outcome. I think we all needed to wake up. Good. We talked for a few more minutes, then said goodbye. It wasn't warm, it wasn't close, but it was honest. That was progress. 2 years after I found Emma in the woods, she called me with news. I'm moving, she said. Where? Colorado. I got a job with an environmental nonprofit. It's exactly what I've been looking for. That's great. Yeah, I'm excited. When do you leave? 2 weeks. I felt a pang in my chest. That soon? I know, but I'm ready. I'm glad. Will you help me pack? Of course. I spent the next week at her apartment, boxing up books, wrapping dishes, and listening to her talk about her new life. She seemed lighter than I'd ever seen her, freer, like she'd finally stepped out of a shadow that had been following her for years. On the last day, we loaded the moving truck and drove it to the storage facility where she'd keep her things until she found a place in Colorado. Thanks for helping, she said as we locked the unit. Anytime. We stood there for a moment, looking at the rows of identical doors. Dad? She said. Yeah? I need to tell you something. Okay. I forgive Trevor. I looked at her. You do? Yeah, it took a long time, but I do. I don't think we'll ever be close again, but I don't hate him anymore. That's good. And I forgive Mom, too. Really? Sort of. I mean, I don't forget what she did, but I understand why she did it. She was scared. Scared I'd end up like Grandpa. Scared she'd lose control. Scared of a lot of things, and scared people do terrible things. That doesn't excuse it. No, but it explains it. And that's enough for me to let it go. I nodded. You're stronger than I am. No, I'm just tired of carrying it. We drove back to her apartment in silence. That night, she made dinner. We ate on her floor since all her furniture was packed. She told me stories about the people she'd met in therapy, about the plans she had for Colorado, about the life she was building. I listened and tried not to think about how empty my house would feel when she was gone. Are you going to be okay? She asked. I think so. You don't sound sure. I'm not, but I'll figure it out. She smiled. You always do. Emma left on a Thursday morning. I helped her load her car. She hugged me tight before getting in. Call me when you get there, I said. I will. Drive safe. I will. And Emma? Yeah? I'm proud of you. She smiled. I know. I watched her drive away, stood in the parking lot until her car disappeared around the corner. Then I went home to my empty house and tried to figure out what to do with the rest of my life. I fell into a routine. Wake up early, make coffee, read the paper, go for a walk, work on projects around the house, make dinner, watch a movie, go to bed, repeat. It was peaceful, quiet, lonely. Trevor called once a month. We'd talk for 15 minutes, catch up on surface-level things, then say goodbye. It wasn't close, but it wasn't hostile. That was something. Diane sent a Christmas card. I threw it away without opening it. Emma called every week. She told me about her job, her new friends, the mountains. She sounded happy. That was all that mattered. One day, about 6 months after Emma moved, I got a call from Don, the private investigator. I thought you'd want to know, he said. Lisa turned up. Where? Florida. She got married again. Same pattern. Wealthy older guy, no prenup. Does he know who she is? I doubt it. Are you going to tell him? That's not my job. What is your job? Just keeping track. You said you wanted to know if she resurfaced. I did, thanks. I hung up and thought about the man in Florida. thought about whether I should warn him, thought about whether it was my responsibility. In the end, I decided it wasn't. Everyone makes their own choices. Everyone lives with the consequences. I'd made mine. I'd chosen to protect Emma. I'd chosen to destroy the people who tried to hurt her. I didn't regret any of it. 3 years after I found Emma in the woods, Trevor called with unexpected news. "Lisa died," he said. I sat down. "What?" "Car accident in Florida. She ran off the road during a storm." "When?" 2 weeks ago. I just found out." "How?" "Her new husband called me. He found my number in her phone. Wanted to know if I knew anything about her past." "What did you tell him?" "The truth, about the embezzlement, the restraining orders, the pattern, everything." "How did he take it?" "He cried. Said he'd been married to her for 8 months and thought he knew her. I told him none of us really knew her." I was quiet for a moment. "Are you okay?" "I don't know. I thought I'd feel something. Relief, maybe. Or closure. But I just feel empty." "That's normal." "Is it?" "Yeah." We sat in silence for a while. "Dad?" Trevor said eventually. "Yeah?" "Do you think she ever really loved me?" "I don't know." "That's what I keep wondering. Like, was any of it real, or was I just a mark the whole time?" "Does it matter?" "It feels like it should." "Maybe, but knowing won't change what happened." He sighed. "I guess not." We talked for a few more minutes, then hung up. I sat in my chair and thought about Lisa, about the life she'd lived, about the people she'd hurt, about the fact that she was gone now and nothing had changed. The world kept turning. People kept living. Damage remained. A few months later, Emma came to visit. She stayed for a week. We hiked, cooked together, watched old movies, talked about everything and nothing. On her last night, we sat on the porch watching the sunset. "I'm thinking about writing a book," she said. "About what?" "About what happened. The intervention, the woods, all of it." "Why?" "Because I think it might help other people who've been through something similar. People who've been gaslit. People who've been isolated. People who've been told they're crazy when they're not." "That's a good reason?" "Do you think I should?" "If you want to, yes." She nodded. "I'm nervous about it. About putting it all out there." "You don't have to use real names." "I know, but it still feels exposing." "Then maybe you're not ready yet." "Maybe." We sat in silence for a while, watching the sky turn from orange to purple to black. "Dad?" she said. "Yeah?" "Do you ever think about what would have happened if you hadn't found me?" "Every day." "What do you think would have happened?" "I don't know, and I don't want to know." She leaned her head on my shoulder. "Thank you for finding me." "You're welcome." After Emma left, I started thinking about my own story, about the choices I'd made, about the things I'd destroyed to protect her, about whether I'd do it again. The answer was yes, always yes. But I also started thinking about the cost, about the relationships I'd burned, about the family I'd lost, about the man I'd become in the process. I wasn't sure I liked that man, but I respected him. He'd done what needed to be done. Trevor called again a few months later. "I'm getting married," he said. "To who?" "Her name's Rachel. She's a teacher. We've been dating for a year." "That's great." "I wanted to ask if you'd come to the wedding." "When is it?" 3 months from now. Small ceremony. Just family and close friends." "Will your mother be there?" "I invited her. She said she'd think about it." "And Emma?" "I haven't asked her yet. I wanted to ask you first." "Why?" "Because I wanted to know if you thought she'd come." "I don't know. You'll have to ask her." He was quiet for a moment. "Do you think she's forgiven me?" "She said she has." "But do you think she means it?" "Yes, but forgiving you doesn't mean she wants to be close to you. It just means she's letting go of the anger." "That's fair." "Talk to her. Be honest. Let her decide." "Okay, thanks, Dad." "Congratulations, Trevor." "Thanks." Emma decided to go to the wedding. I went too. Diane came, but we didn't speak. We sat on opposite sides of the aisle and pretended the other didn't exist. Trevor looked happy. Rachel seemed kind. The ceremony was short and sweet. Afterward, there was a small reception in a garden. I watched Emma talk to Trevor for the first time in years. They stood under a tree, speaking quietly. I couldn't hear what they said, but I saw Emma smile, saw Trevor cry, saw them hug. It wasn't reconciliation, but it was something. I stood by the bar, drinking water, watching my fractured family pretend to be whole for a few hours. "You did this," a voice said beside me. I turned. Diane was standing there, glass of wine in hand. "Did what?" I asked. "Destroyed us. We destroyed ourselves. No, you chose to blow everything up instead of keeping the peace. There was no peace to keep." She took a sip of wine. "Do you regret it?" "No." "Not even a little?" "Not even a little." She looked at Emma across the garden. "She's happy now." "Yes, because of you." "Because of herself." Diane smiled sadly. "You always did give her too much credit. And you never gave her enough." We stood in silence for a moment. "I'm sorry," she said suddenly. I looked at her. "For what?" "For what I did to Emma. For what I said. For everything." "Why are you telling me this now?" "Because I finally understand what you were trying to tell me, that I was hurting her, that I was projecting my own fears onto her, that I was wrong." "What made you understand?" "Therapy. A lot of therapy." "Good." She finished her wine. "I don't expect you to forgive me." "I don't forgive you." "I know. But I wanted you to know I'm sorry anyway." She walked away. I watched her go. Felt nothing.